just want to know where we're going. What, did you want to come home or something? Is this where you wanted to go? When we got married, we knew we wanted to have a family. And there weren't many things we disagreed on, and certainly both felt strongly about that. Had our first boy, Lucas, in 2004, and then Cal came in 2007. Things were just really, really good in our lives. I mean, in life there's seasons, and it was just a great season.
We knew we wanted to have another baby, or actually I probably convinced Bryan that 3 would be, a perfect number. And with Griffin, textbook pregnancy, everything was, as easy as it could be. I had really, really easy pregnancies and deliveries. We got induced at 40 weeks and went to the hospital, and he delivered. We didn't hear a cry, and it was really surreal.
He didn't breathe, and we thought we were going to lose him right away.
And they swept him away and got him bagged, and so that he never went without oxygen. And he was in the NICU at Presby for 24 hours, and his scores were fine, and he was able to come home with us, which we were really surprised about.
For him to recover like that, there was something special about him. All kids are special, and they're all a miracle. But there was something really special about him, and words can't really describe it.
I think because of his traumatic birth, our pediatrician was very aware and just paid attention to his growth and development. We started with MRI, which came back inconclusive, and they were looking for basically any brain damage maybe that he'd had from birth and not breathing, and there was nothing present.
Over the months and years, these milestones became more and more evident that he wasn't going to hit, and that was hard as a parent. You don't want to compare him to other children, but he was clearly different. He went from a baby that's crawling around that probably should be walking to a kid that looked like a toddler. Why isn't this kid walking?
Then we would do diagnostic surgeries where they would go in and try to make sure that there was a pathway between his brain to his legs, and maybe that explained why he wasn't walking. And most of these tests and surgeries were all inconclusive, which still just left everyone scratching their heads. And all that at this point that we really could do was start with therapy. This was not exactly going to be the same path that our other 2 children had gone down in terms of development and growth. And thinking there's no way that I can drive 6 times a week, over to some location that is, not close. And how is that going to work with 2 other kids? And there's no way I can do this. I didn't sign up for this. There's no way. And truly, at every corner that I would have those thoughts and reservations, I feel certain it was the Lord that met us and gave us the strength to do those things. He was a fighter, and he was resilient, and was just absolutely just a bundle of joy and love.
What I loved about Griffin is he was just always playful and happy and kind, and it didn't seem like he had a bad day, not very often.
He always had a smile on his face. If he sees someone, he would just give them a big old hug.
The doctor had prescribed some different wheelchairs we should look into, and we were doing it. And there are moments in life that you'll never forget, because I was out of town and sitting at a work dinner, and Joli sent me a little iPhone video.
We were at a car dealership of all places. We just were sitting, waiting, and we decided to work on walking.
And I just had to excuse myself from a work dinner, which became a lot less important.
I think what is even as special as the actual act of walking was how happy his brothers were for him.
We were just so proud of him, and we just couldn't stop smiling and laughing.
It was a great feeling because all the doctors said that he wouldn't learn how to walk, so it was a miracle.
He loved animals, He would just roll around and play with the dogs. And it was at the state fair. We went in to see the animals, and as soon as we let him out, I mean, it was this laughter, and whether it was the goats, the chicken, he just couldn't see enough.
Both of us are not the people that buy like the pictures at Six Flags when you're coming off the Texas Giant and, you know, your face is plastered back. Everyone's looking back at him with smiles on their faces that are a mile wide. And the smile on his face was worth $1 million+. I mean, if that's how much that trip would have cost us, I would have spent it just to see that.
We had adjusted. It wasn't easy, and we would still continue to pray for his life daily. God, thank you so much for his development and the way he's continuing to grow, and to help lead him the way he had done that first 5.5 years.
We were here at the house and had a routine for bedtime. I went next door to my neighbors to catch up with her with our middle child. So Bryan and Lucas were here at the house.
I got up looking for him, and I look over and I see one of the safeguards compromised. My heart sunk. I see another one through a couple of locks that we have, and I run out there. And I said, "Please no, Jesus." I jumped in fully clothed, phone, everything.
Lucas came over running. Bryan met me here on the driveway and with Griffin, completely limp. We were both screaming hysterically, as any parent would do. Our wonderful neighbor, who lives across the street and is a physician, came running over, and he started mouth to mouth and CPR. The first responders were here very, very quickly, within like a couple of minutes, and Bryan got in the ambulance with Griffin. At Presbyterian, they worked on him for what seemed like, it seemed like hours. And then they found a pulse. So we transported him from that hospital to Children's.
You don't wake up in the morning and anticipate something like that. Lucas, our oldest, said, "Well, I believe God can do a miracle." And I said, God gave us a miracle with him. He probably shouldn't be here today. And a lot of close calls he's had.
And then that started 10 days of just decision making. At some point, he quit responding to any of the neurological tests that they were doing. The neurologist that, told us that there really wasn't anything more that we could do. We made the decision to do organ donation.
Watching him take his last breath is not something I'd wish on anybody.
Jesus, please hug him right now. Give him a kiss for me.
We'd be lying if we didn't say why. But I do believe that time that we had in the hospital was a gift from God. It allowed us a little time to heal and be with him.
A friend called when we were in the hospital asking what Griffin's favorite color was. And I just remember thinking, that's an odd request. I said, well, he looks amazing in yellow.
And as we came up to down the streets leading up to our home and saw it, it was just breathtaking.
That just really grabbed our attention, and it felt like a hug coming home.
We just felt so much love and support from our community. God speaks through his people. There's no doubt in my mind, and it doesn't matter what you think of yourself. If you really humble yourself before God and ask for his strength, because people that I don't really know, people that I wouldn't expect, reaching out to us very quickly. This is still sitting out. These are all letters, and we still have them. Just people mailed us. It takes time and effort, and you may wonder, does that help anybody? And I can tell you, speaking for our family, it absolutely did. Just a word of hope or inspiration. We appreciate every bit of it, and we still lean on it.
I had written in a journal, although there's so many ups and downs, and we don't know what the road is going to look like in the future for him, I live every day to see his face, and he makes me happy. He was a miracle that we were given, a gift that we were given.
He was just an incredible brother, and I want people to remember him as like that.
My little brother's like my hero, and it was just awesome to be able to spend the time I had with Griffin.
When we talk about the Good Shepherd, and it says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," and he leads me beside still waters. There were so many things that he went through, and so many challenges, and all the therapies and doctor visits. There's no way that we would have gotten through it, his first year, let alone his life, without God leading us.
You know, the statistics for marriages, for parents that have special needs kids, I mean, it's hard. It's really hard. You know, there's not a doubt in my mind that we could do it.
There were some things that happened that only God could do to bring us together, and we've held on to that ever since. I really look back and feel it was an honor and a blessing to shepherd Griffin, you know, to be his parent. We have full assurance of where he is, and we know that the things he couldn't do, I know he's doing now.
Our verse that we will forever remember him by is Matthew 5:16.
I mean, the verse says, "Let your light shine before others to glorify God in heaven." I mean, as we've moved forward, we just realized that there's a lot of good in people, and God puts that in us and wants to bring it out of us. Griffin certainly let his light shine.